Hey guys, welcome back. This time I'd like to talk to you about the experts interview, or some people call it Ask the Experts. This is a point in a design sprint session that usually happens in day one. Actually, it always happens in day one. Some people might do it at the beginning of the day. Some other people might want to do it after lunchtime, or kind of like halfway after the team's done some goals and questions and some user journey mapping. But the point of the experts interview is to actually invite senior stakeholders, people who are too busy to be part of the full week sprint or be there for the rest of the day, but they are important because they are decision makers still, and they're C-suite executives usually, or these are people who we really need to get some buy-in from. And therefore, one of the tactics in a design sprint is to make sure that the experts or the senior stakeholders are always in the loop. Therefore, you don't need to update them throughout, like by the end of the sprint, but rather update them throughout the week, pretty much. So the experts interview happens either in the morning, where the experts or the senior stakeholders would come in, gather around, and start pointing out the challenges and the issues that they may have or that they have from their point of view. The other way of doing it is for the team to already start some goals and questions, some user journey mapping in the morning, and then in the afternoon, the experts would come into the room and they would start throwing questions and challenges and point of views on the things that the team has came up with in the morning. So the way that we usually do this is when the experts come in, I, as the facilitator, would take them through the artifacts, is what we call the things that are stuck on the wall. So whether it's some user persona documentation, some customer experience map, or the user journey map that was designed in the morning, or the goals and questions that the team has come up with in the morning, I would run that through to the experts, in front of the experts, to make sure that they know what's been done. And then they get to sit down around the table in a meeting table scenario and start asking questions. Now, oftentimes it's very common for them to not know exactly what type of questions to ask, and that's where, as the facilitator, I would come in and start throwing out questions myself to start the conversation. So for example, let's just say his name is David. David, from your point of view, what do you think about the goal? Or in 2 years' time, ultimately, what do you think this app or this product or this website should do? And then they'll answer you. And as they're answering you, they're going to start thinking about challenges and questions that they have. And that's when the team starts to write down the things that the senior stakeholder is pointing out in a note. Now, the note-taking technique is called the How Might We note-taking technique, and we will have a link under this description below where you could see a video that I've made about How Might We notes. But essentially what it does is you're taking their points of views that are usually phrases like, I think we could have a better system around our ordering process. Rather than writing down exactly what they've written, as a team member, I would write down how might we have a better system for our ordering process, for example. So you're changing the point of view from it being just a challenge statement into a solvable problem using How Might We technique. But have a look at the video if you haven't seen that. So essentially that's what you do around this time during the experts interview. And the other types of good questions to ask is if this product was to hit the home run, if it was going to be a very successful one, what is it going to look like, for example? And let them start talking about their own ideas. And as they're talking, as I mentioned earlier, the team members will just write down their notes in a form of a How Might We. So experts interview are also good not only during a design sprint session, but it's also good for you just to gather aspirations around. And it's very, very efficient if you want to run it in meetings as well. So let's say you're a designer and you've got a team of yourself and a developer, and then you're about to create a new concept for a website, for example. But before you start, you wanted to run through some aspiration meetings with the stakeholders, whether it's the client or the marketing manager or whoever, and just gather them around in a meeting, let them start throwing in questions, challenges within the context of the key challenge of where the project has risen in the first place, and then just start taking notes. And I find that when you do that, you can actually be a very good active listener. That oftentimes being a very good listener will result in a great outcome anyway, rather than you challenging them. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that one. If you do have any questions, as usual, I'm open to it. Send me an email, alvin@relab.com.au, or write down a comment. All right, see you guys.